let's learn from some of the mistakes the failed founders have made and how you can avoid, how to avoid similar pitfalls, right? And I'll show you there are common pitfalls. And I'll also show you at the end of the talk, you will agree that the reasons for failures are just three or four, five or six. But any successful startup has thousand reasons that make it successful. But failures, very few. And let's learn how you can learn these five, six lessons and implement in your journey of entrepreneurship, right? So I'd like to share my screen. I've prepared a mind map. Uh, yeah. Right. So if I'm all right, so I have two flows, guys. I can share stories of some successful startups, or I can start with my own businesses that failed. Right. So what would you like to hear first? My own failure stories, or you would like to learn from the failure of Zomato, Dudwala, and ask me? Professor, shall I start with my own failed stories, and I will connect how at a SME level, what failure you face, even at the bigger scale, the reason for failure remains more or less the same, right? So let's start with my failed
Yes,
businesses.
if
Is
you
it all
ask my
right?
opinion, I would love to listen to you, your
All
story.
right, lovely. Thank you so much. Right. So there were three businesses that so we mentioned, right, I started seven diverse businesses, right? So this is way back in 2008 and 9 timeframe. This was my second venture. It was called Talent Time. Okay, it was a hobby studio. Basically, why I started that business, because I had two daughters who were just 5 6 year, I mean 6 year old and 4 year old. And I had started my first venture, IT consulting firm. My first venture was the most successful venture till date. That's our livelihood. And this was the second venture. And why I started this? Because of Bangalore traffic. I had no time to take my children for extracurricular activities. So I tried, there was a gap in my locality for all the salsa and tabla music, guitar, keyboard, yoga classes. So it was a center for both kids as well as adults. So I had a personal need because I wanted special attention for my children. And there was a gap there in where I stayed. People had to travel 5 kilometers for these classes. So I decided to get into this business, right? And there are a lot of learnings from this business because I failed at a small level, and those lessons I implemented in my next set of businesses, right? So now let's look at what did we accomplish here. So as I said, it was a hobby center where we would teach dance, music, yoga, extracurricular, right? Hobby, talent time. So we were invited by Sony TV for Indian Idol and Dance India show way back. We created a community of 1,000 members. This business lasted for 1 year. And we also got good revenue within the first 3 months itself. And we got a lot of inbound calls. We were not doing marketing at that point in time because I was just an employee turned entrepreneur, uh, and I was still in the learning phase, right? And ironically, today also we get inquiries for that business. It has been how many years now? 16 years, I think. And we today also we get inquiries for that business, right? So I would say that's an accomplishment, right? But now let's look at what we did not do right. This is the failure lessons, right? This my business model itself was not right. Okay. The operational costs were very high. And the most important thing here is, was I passionate about all these things, right? I'm not a teacher myself as a yoga teacher or a music teacher or a dance teacher. I just found a gap and I was trying to solve a problem, right? So let's look at, is it good way to see a problem and then start solving it, even if you're not passionate about it? Where will it land you, right? And after 18 years, this was my business in 2008, right? And now as on today, I have 18 years of entrepreneurship experience, right? As on today, when I reflect back, I realize that your passion is very important for whatever problem you're solving. Because even if the business becomes successful and you're not passionate about it, you become complacent. You don't reinvent, you don't redo things every single day. You're not charged up to do something new because you created this business out of mind, not out of heart. So unless your business has both heart and mind together, sustainability becomes a question mark, right? This is the lesson I learned from this business. Now, why I say my business model was not right, right? Because I set up a commercial center for this studio with proper business registration and everything. I had huge rentals. So even before that, let's discuss the operational cost, because I want to bring the pricing and payment collection, because I just want to say how my rentals were really high. And staff salaries, I had three staff and rentals, right? So at way back in 2008 9 time frame, my fixed cost to run that place was around 55 to 60,000, right? Way back in 2008 9, right? Now that requires the pricing to take care of these things, right? But in hobby classes you get 300 rupees, 500 rupees for 8 classes, right? That was the pricing. So I did not, because I was an employee turned entrepreneur, I didn't study business, right? So it was just that entrepreneurial bug was there and I wanted to start some business. So these are learnings, and I see most of the people do that. Oh, just want to start a business. They simply start a business without working on the numbers. How much would be my expenses, right? What are my costs? How much, putting a price point, how much I'm going to earn? What will be my revenue? How will I collect money, right? Is it cash? Is it credit card? Right? So there are a lot of things here. So because it was priced at 500 rupees a month, right? In the initial few months, we were able to get good revenue, but it became a question of sustainability because people wouldn't pay on time. It was monthly collection fee, a small ticket size monthly collection, right? So then I redid my model where I started collecting payments for 3 months, right? So that way, at least 3 month commitment is there, and people, and the human behavior here, right? People say, oh, my child has not attended 2 classes, so I'm not going to pay for that, right? And so I learned a lot of things about how people pay money, right? So this small business gave me a lot of insights into customer psychology, the pricing points, and how to make sure you collect payments, right? And there was always a delta between projected revenue and actuals because a lot of people would simply stop coming, right? So this entire business model was unfeasible, and that I learned by the end of 1 year when I actually dived into it. And I wouldn't say I made losses there, uh, but I would say I wish I had these insights before starting the business, which I learned on the job, right? I did it and then I learned. I'm an action taker. If I have some idea in mind, I execute it, and I have a lot of learnings and insights, right? And that is what I'm trying to share with all of you here. Okay. So I think we've addressed all the 3 points here. Business model was not right, operational costs were high, and it was just a gap that I saw I was solving, and I was not passionate about it, right? But now what did we do right? Because we had good revenue, and I'm not saying that it was a loss business. So operational excellence we had, because I'm a techie IT entrepreneur. I brought a lot of processes, and my operational setup was great, better customer experience, even better than the known competitor, right? So even though this part of the business was very good, still we faced challenges and we had to shut it down. And why we had to shut it down? Dealing with kids was a safety and security issue, a big concern that I overlooked, right? Because since and I started this business like a social venture. It was not like a business kind for me. So having that clarity, whether you are starting a business or you are doing a social service, that also helps, because I thought it was a social service, and that is why I was not worried about how I will make money in the beginning, and that became a bottleneck. And the kids' safety and security was a big reason why I had to pivot, heart shut. But we closed it very beautifully. right? We celebrated and we closed the business, right? The closure is also important, how you close, right? That taking that decision that it's not for you anymore. That is also important mindset of an entrepreneur, right? Creating something, if you're not able to sustain it, shutting it down, that decision also you have to take, right? So these are the lessons I learned in this journey, right? And as I said, sustainability, how long can we survive in this business after thriving, right? That becomes a matter of your own passion. All right, so as I already mentioned this in the beginning, that failing isn't a flaw, it helps us move forward. So this is about my first venture. I mean, among my 7 ventures, the first one that was a failure. Well, I don't know, should I call it a failure? It's just that, uh, see, that we were making money, right? And if I continued, I would have been in losses.
Or can I say success delayed?
Success delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think it was my learning ground. I didn't go to an MBA school. This was my MBA to be able to do next set of businesses, right? I learned sales, marketing, customer behavior, operational processes, everything, managing finances, all in one at a very small level, right? And these lessons have helped me. Actually, my next business was a jewelry setup, which was in crores. This was in few thousands, that was in few crores, right? So I failed early and failed small, right? I mean, I would not say failure again. It are the insights and lessons that I learned, right? Success delayed, as Professor rightly said. How much time we have, right? I can cover this as well, right?
Yes, definitely.
So my second failure business was apparel business, which was in the year 2014-15 time frame. And why I started this business, this was a hard shut. This was a proper loss business, okay? Because we had a jewelry showroom. We thought that jewelry and wedding apparels complement each other, gold and diamond jewelry. We can rotate our customers, right? I mean, cross-selling. And we had some funds. So we ventured into apparel business, wedding apparels, right on commercial street, prime spot, awesome location. But that business also failed. Why? In 1 year time frame, I shut it down. Why? Because I was not passionate about it. Again, that's why I'm saying, right? You have to look at, you have to have that passion for whatever uh, business you are creating. And the first question that you have to ask before starting any business is, what are you passionate about? And is your passion solving a problem? And what problem it is solving in the world? And are people willing to pay you money to solve that problem? And how much money are people willing to pay you? How much are they willing to pay you? What is the market potential of the problem that you wish to solve? Right? These are very important questions that you need to ask. Right? So now, why this business failed? It failed because of the retail frontage. I had a good location, but the shop frontage was just 10 feet. And I'm telling you all this when I was already a first time successful entrepreneur. From an employee to an IT company, which was my first venture. This was successful business. After that talent time, a failed business or a lot of learnings business. And then we started this gold and diamond showroom. And after that, we started this apparel. And that gold and diamond is also super successful. We were number one store for diamond sales across India for a super premium brand, right? And then again, I'm making a mistake, right? So look at this, right? So now, the what is the mistake? But location was good, but the frontage was very small, 10 feet. People would simply skip right at the signal. It won't even register. And then this business had no USP, no differentiation. Okay, it was just one other business in the market. Okay, so unless you have a differentiator, right, your USP, unique serving proposition, unique selling proposition, but I call it serving proposition. Okay, the business won't survive. Why talent time survive? Because it was a need in that small area. There was a demand, customer demand. Why apparel business didn't survive? Because there was no demand there, and no demand in the way I was right on commercial street and I didn't have any USP. There were a lot of competition. It was just, I call it vanilla ice cream, right? You can mix vanilla ice cream in every Sunday. It's available anywhere, right? So it was just one other business, nothing unique about it. And this business requires a different skill set to run apparels, right? And no personal interest, right? The idea was only creating a one more income stream, passive income stream, because I had taken a franchisee, right? So I hope you've you've got some insights on um, this business as well, right? Now let us look at the third one, which is FNB. Basically, it was prior to the apparel, but I put it a little later because I just sold it. So it's not a failure. I ran it. I took a master franchisee of a premium ice cream brand, whole of South India franchisee, so that we would be the wholesaler and then we would distribute. But then I realized that we were we were having revenue in like it was revenue in crores for a jewelry showroom and for an IT company. But this FNB, the daily ticket size was 5,000 rupees. I mean, at the end of the day, you would sell only 5,000 rupees because it was just a upcoming brand, right? So it didn't make sense, the time and energy and effort that we were putting into it and building somebody else's brand, because they were not so known and there were a lot of challenges in the relationship. So finally, I sold it off at no profit, no loss. 1 year of time, effort gone, but a lot of insights and learning. Now look at this. In my IT company, I am dealing with white collar professionals. In my apparel, I am dealing with premium customer segments in jewelry business. In apparel, also wedding wear, mixed crowd, right? And in FNB, again, mixed crowd. But look at the team, right? In IT company, my team is also postgraduates, graduates. But in the retail thing, in apparel and jewelry and FNB, right? At least in apparel and FNB, I had graduates, at least 12th pass. But in FNB, I had 5th pass, right? And there were a lot of issues of shrinkage, pilferage, and stuff like that. Managing the staff was very difficult. They'll simply not show up, right? So these are the lessons that you learn in your smaller businesses, right? So I think that's about it about my failed businesses. So I'll quickly talk about my successful businesses, which is my IT company. We are into DevSecOps consulting, and Kanika Jewels. It is in Indranagar, and since 2009, the most important point I want to talk here is why these businesses are successful and why those failed. Because both these businesses, we have our unique business positioning. We are not just one other business in the market, right? We found our space in the market, that gap, call it our blue ocean, right? Where we are fixing real customer problems, right? And we have a unique differentiator, strong differentiator, and that's why these businesses survived, right? And obviously, when the business is running well, you automatically develop passion for it. That is also there. There are two ways. Either you're passionate about something, or if the business is doing great, automatically you become passionate, because it becomes a miles win. Everything is a win, right? Every milestone is a win, and you enjoy it, right? So that's it. Now there are two more businesses that I want to talk about, where I don't know which I should put in success category or failure category, right? Because 7 businesses we spoke about, right? So I opened a premium gifting boutique in ITPL Mall, Park Square Mall here in Bangalore, right? So one key insight I have here: never open a business where people go and earn money, because they won't spend. In malls, in tech malls, what works is only food courts and fine and restaurant, low ticket products. This was a gold, diamond, and luxury watches. It was a gifting boutique. The Still we had kept the price point very low. It start for minimum 10,000 onwards, but still people would not. I mean, the reason why I opened this, because I had some extra. I had reasons to open this shop. I had a lot of extra stock which I could just put it on a new shop. So that is why I don't know. I mean, it was a smart entrepreneur business move that I did. Because I shifted a lot of extra stock from one showroom to another showroom, we got our revenue and everything was working fine. But beyond 3 years, if I would have continued, I would have ended up in losses. Again, deciding when to quit, whether sell it or shut it. That decision is very important.
So at times, as you said, more than entry, the timing of exit also matters a lot.
A lot.
Correct.
So that is why I'm saying, see, because why I'm putting a question mark, because in others, something that you're selling or something that you're closing, people feel it's not going right for you. That is why you're selling it or shutting it, right? That may not be true. For us, it was we had something else was in our mind. We were able to leverage that, right? So there are only that apparel showroom was a hard shut, which is we can call failure, right? But at this point in time, knowing that if I continue now, I will be in losses, but just coming out, being detached with what happens is I see most of the entrepreneurs are so attached with their business and idea that it's very difficult for them to let go and take that decision to shut. My husband always says that I am between, okay, so my husband and I are co-founders in all our businesses. And he always says me that I am Brahma, I create, and I am Shiva also because I uh, destroy or transform, right? And he becomes Vishnu, he has to manage everything, right? But I think, and what we had our fights over these things as well, because it's not easy decision to shut down your business or sell your business, right? And but I used to think that is it a good move that we are simply I'm one fine I'm just detached with my business and shutting it down, right? But when I learned more about entrepreneurship and I what people speak, a lot of speakers and a lot of successful entrepreneurs. I think it's a good skill that you know that right now you have to take an exit, whatever it is, sell or shut, take an exit, pivot it, right? So that also is a great skill an entrepreneur can have. It's an entrepreneurship skill, right? So social venture solution, which is my passion project, where I'm building tech products. One of my tech product pivoted. One second. Yeah. So this tech product that I built in 2018, it was called Give and Gain. It was a giving marketplace, shortlisted by Economic Times, NASSCOM 10K startup. The things going right, but this was the first time I was building a tech product. If you see all these while we are either into software consulting or retail businesses. And after the 2006, I started my first business. After 12 years, I'm building a product and I had huge learning curve because that time I used to feel I'm doing everything right. But when I pivoted this product and when I reflect back with today's maturity, I realize what all I did mistakes, right? I mean, that is what I see most founders do mistakes today, not putting the right problem statement. What are you solving? And that is the learning I got from Give and Gain platform. This is a talk in itself, the 1 hour talk in itself, right? The entire pitch deck from the problem statement to solution. So all I'm saying here is my problem statement was not right. And that is why I had to pivot this product. Okay. So key takeaway for all aspiring entrepreneurs and founders that it's important to spend time on the problem statement because the rest of the communication starts flowing from there. What is the real problem you're solving? You have to go little deeper and see is this problem worth solving, right? So and I'm building few more products. So other thing, yeah. So what I feel right now as on today with all the lessons that I have learned, that all these resilience, right, from one business to another business, right, turns failures, right, and success, some successful, some failure, and going through a lot of ups and downs every day. At one point in time, I had 5 businesses running in parallel. And that itself is another talk that a lot of people ask me that how did you run 5 businesses in parallel, right? So some other time, right? So basically now as today, all these lessons across diverse businesses, different ticket size, different teams size, different team dynamics, different customer dynamics, right? It empowered me to have a lot of diverse perspectives, and that's what I do now. I empower entrepreneurs to fine tune their problem statement, right? Because and figure out their business positioning, right? Because all these failures now, see, if you missed my 5G, my TEDx talk, probably you should go and look at it. Uh, the fifth G is greatness, right? Greatness is with what you have learned, what how it you can help others, right? What your stone, what ripples your stone creates in somebody else's pond, right? So that is what this is all about, right? Journey of greatness isn't a title. It is with what you do, how it helps others, right? So I think those are few things. Now let us quickly go back to yeah, let's quickly go back to the three startups that I spoke about. Let's look at Zomato, right? So Zomato started something called Zomato Instant. I'm not sure if you guys know about it, right? It's a 10-minute delivery service in 2022, and they quietly shut it down in 2023. And what are the reasons for failure? I hope my screen is visible and the size of the text is good enough for people to.
Yes, yes. It's good enough.
So first of all, it was an unfeasible business model. Remember talent time, unfeasible business model. So what I see is what I experienced in my businesses at a smaller scale. I see these businesses experiencing them at a bigger scale. The problem is they are much visible, they are much bigger. So a lot of people know about it, right? But at small level, if you are able to learn all these things at a bigger level, you would know how to address all these things, right? So unfeasible business model, right? They see that this 10-minute model heavily relied on dark kitchens, and they had a very limited menu, and it required route optimizations, right? So all in all, the whole model was unsustainable. They can do it for 1 day, 2 day, 1 month, but forever consistency. So it became unsustainable, and on top of that, unsustainable. And on top of that, their operational cost went very high. So we will look at other reasons of failure as well, right? So I think I mentioned about the operational cost, high operational cost for dark kitchens and all those things that we just mentioned, right? And then safety concerns. So the delivery partners were pushed to unsafe speeds for to meet the delivery targets, right? The delivery partners were asked to just rush through, right? And the company got a lot of backslash from both employees as well as public, right? So this was another reason for their failure. So remember the safety and security concern in talent time, unfeasible business model, and safety and security of kids. So the these are the points you should remember. Is my business model sustainable? Can I do it one time, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, 1 million times? Can I do it for next 10 years, right? My business model, what is business model? Business model simply means how will you make money, right? So now the another reason for their failure is customer demand mismatch. They misunderstood that. I don't think they did proper customer surveys, right? Because this was not in high demand. Customers are prioritizing quality over speed, but they thought speed is important, but customer wanted quality. And that whole concept of dark kitchens, I think they didn't work out, a high operational cost, and probably that is the reason they quietly shut those operations, right? Now let's look at another story, Dudwala, right? Now look at this. They were in business for 5 years, launched in 2015, shut down in 2020. And what was Dudwala? It's a subscription based milk and grocery delivery. And what was their promise? Fresh daily essentials. And the reasons of failure, let's look at this, right? A lot of cash burn issues, right? Even if you have funding, and I see that happening in most startups. I have also been consulting few startups, and I at very big scale they are, and I can see that they're simply burning cash, right? They have a lot of investment, but a lot of cash burn is happening. I cannot take the name of the startups, but this cash burn issues is a big problem. And this happens either you're spending too much on marketing, or your operational and logistic costs are too high. And that will lead, other operational and logistic costs are greater than the incoming revenue, it will lead to cash crunch, right? So another thing, very important thing, a lot of people seek funding. In my businesses, I have not sought funding. So this is one important point which I have not covered there, which I would like to bring up here, is that when you take funding, the time, it's not just you got funding and it's right in your hands, right? They give you disperse money across timelines, right? So it's not everything you get upfront. So this business relied heavily on external funding to scale operations, and they failed to secure investor interest to sustain the business. And that was the reason for their shutdown, right? Their logistics were too complex, right? because they were managing perishable items. This is very important. See, my gold and diamond business is not perishable business, right? Even if the stock is not selling, gold grows, rate grows, and sooner or later, it's not a perishable item. Even if sales are not happening, your stock inventory is growing, right? But here, groceries, bread, milk, vegetables, these are perishable items. If they don't get sold today, they will just they will be unusable. So this required them to have a very robust cold chain logistics, which they inadequately handled, right? And now look at the increased competition. They're competing with giants like Big Basket and Flipkart, Blinkit. Now it is Blinkit. Earlier it was Grofers, right? So similar service, but these companies had larger resources and they had better customer experience, right? So I think these were the reasons of their failure. Now, please note that there are some new things that we have learned in this section, which, right, even after 5 years in business, they had to shut down because of funding issues, right? Um, and investor issues, right? Investor, I would say the relationship management with investors, right? Now, there's one more example that I would like to take here is Ask Me. This was an online search and e-commerce platform, like Yellow Pages of India, it's called, and founded in 2010 and shut down in 2016. 6 years. Let's look at their reasons for failure. I hope you guys are enjoying the talk. Please keep making notes, and I hope your questions are coming in. As and when you are getting questions, simply pop it to the professor. And I hope you're enjoying this. Give me a thumbs up that the session is going well. You're getting a lot of insights, and I should continue. Should I continue?
They are. In fact, I'm already loaded with a lot of questions to you, man.
All right. So let's look at, and after this, we will close and then I'll summarize.
Yeah.
So their main reason for failure was mismanagement. Mismanagement, internal conflicts between management and investors, which led to a lot of operational inefficiencies, right? And then delayed vendor payments. Now, this is one discipline that you must have as an entrepreneur, that you pay on time and even collect payment on time. Not only pay on time, make sure you collect your receivables on time, whatever. And this is the main reason why most business don't survive, that they don't collect payment on time. And if you are if you have too much dependency on vendors, and if you don't make payment on time, your business is bound to fail. People will lose trust, you lose your reputation in the market, right? And it will just cripple your operations. Right? By delayed payment, because they were not getting money from investors and their business was not running well. So nobody wants to intentionally not pay somebody, right? But this is all mismanagement and not having right strategies, not managing not having the necessary financial prudence, right? And over expansion, aggressively expanding without sufficient preparation or resources to compete with Flipkart or Amazon. They're trying to compete in that space without necessary preparation or resources, right? So it's very important that you scale first, have profitability, and then scale. And have profitability in a small area or one city, and then you scale, right? And funding crunch. This is already right. Primary investor withdrew the support. All right. So I think we've got sufficient learnings from the failures. And let's look at your questions. And I would just, so there are a few things, I think some actions that you guys need to take. And I also have some important questions that you must ask, right? From all these things that we have learned today, right? It's very important to understand and align to market demands. Know your customers' needs, solve real problems, right? I think I forgot to change this. What was it about? Listening to customers. The first one was mostly business model. The first one was business model. It is like having a sustainable business model. Okay, this is sustainable business model, right? So some of the questions that you must ask when building your business model, there are a lot of tools, business model canvas. I think it's very important business to do your business model canvas. I think I wish I would have done business training before starting my business, but I learned everything on the job. And when I went to IIM for a program, I realized, okay, what I did is now called this. What I did then is called this. So you understand the terms, the jargons, right? But you already have experience doing that. And then I realized I wish I had all these insights. I could have done much better than what I did, right? Because I was learning on the job. So some important questions that you should ask. Maybe you can take a screenshot here. In interest of time, I'll just open up all these things. You can just take a screenshot that of all these important questions that you should ask, right? And then I think your key takeaway should be light-footed. You should be able to adapt to changing market needs quickly. And I called it adaptability and agility. How soon you can adapt and how agile you are. If you are a whale, you will take a lot of time to turn. But if you are a small fish, you can turn quickly, right? So, how agile you are, right? How you build solutions and build solutions that genuinely improve lives. That is again pointing to what is the problem you are solving, and is there a need for that problem to be solved, and are you the right person to solve that problem? Are you passionate about it, right? And one thing very important is get paid mentors. The word paid is very important here, because I have done a lot of free mentoring in the past, and I realize that there is no sense of accountability from both sides, right? Because everything is free, it's not valued, right? But if you and it is not about how much to pay, it is just about a commitment. Because those who want to help, they don't look at how much money. It is just a commitment from both sides, a seriousness from both sides. Because you can get, there are so many entrepreneurs now, there's so much of information available, so many good people, good entrepreneurs, right? You if you take for example, taking Dudwala as your mentor, wouldn't it help you? Because they would have had so many insights to share, right? So because you can leverage on their experiential insights, take guidance, avoid costly mistakes, and avoid common pitfalls, right? So I think these are some of the important less takeaways that I think you can have from this session, right? And yeah, I think I had one more mm, I wanted to show you lessons as quotes, right? So probably you can take a screenshot of this as well and reflect on it later. Because I strongly believe, these are my quotes, failure in business isn't defeat, it's data, right? And your failure is someone else's roadmap. My failure is someone else's roadmap, right? So I'm sharing it wisely, right? So a failed startup isn't the end, it's the beginning of your next big idea, right? How my talent time in 2008 empowered me to start another retail, all those learnings, customer behavior, pricing, everything I accounted for in my jewelry business, right? Whatever I learned there. And great founders don't fear failure. They fear not trying again, right? So if you are wondering why I started 7 businesses, probably this is the answer to that, right?
And does it also say don't put all your eggs in one basket?
Exactly. Because and thank you so much for bringing that up, right, Professor? Because one of the reason why we started these businesses were when in 2008 recession hit. We started in 2006. We had good funds. In 2008 recession hit, and we had the option either to put that money in our IT company and grow that, or diversify.
Correct.
And we took the decision to diversify from an IT company to a retail entrepreneur, right? I mean, B2B business to a B2C business. And then I think it also helped us not keeping all eggs in the same basket, right? And we created multiple revenue streams where other businesses run on their own, right? Once you set up the processes, it becomes a passive income stream, provided first few years you put the necessary processes in place.
Correct.
Right. So that's all from me.
Yes.
We
We
have.
have 15 minutes left, and I have good amount of questions raised from the students. With your permission, can I take it one by one?
Yeah, can I stop the screen share?
Yeah, yeah, please.
And just I want to have one sip of water.
Please.
Right.
There's a very interesting question,
Okay.
very apt. from one of the student. How can founders maintain their mental health after a failure?
Aha, lovely question. Thank you so much for asking this, right? Okay, in my case, my support system, my husband is my support system, right? I learned a lot of things from him, right? And he gave me a lot of mindset shifts. So, and we are friends, we are life partners, we are business partners, and I also call him my first guru. So he all in one package, right? So when it's your own bring up, that my own bring up has been, my childhood has been very challenging. Um, so I have a lot of things to talk, but I'll cut short this, right? So the thing is that I'm kind of, my husband says that I'm fearless. He keeps telling me that I should create a course on how people can be fearless, because people have a lot of fears. So I didn't look at the consequences of failures, right? I simply took actions. And the way for me to handle my fears was hand face them head on, right? So what happens is, in the process, I started becoming emotionally intelligent, right?
Listening to you for the last 45 minutes, I can feel the aura.
Thank you so much. So the point here is, what happens is that I had my husband to give me the mindset shifts where I would not be low, but as such that something didn't go right, he would give me a diverse perspective. So I would say, find a support system of people, or listen to such talks that motivate and inspire you, because it is not something that it can be just earned like this. It's your life's effort, that how you handle this situation. And right now, do meditation, connect with yourself, right? When you connect with yourself, it helps you handle situations in a much better way, because it you know that actually you're impacting yourself. So when I used to get very angry when things were not going my way, or employees are simply leaving without notice and all, my husband used to tell me that, Vandana, do you know that when you get angry, there's so much of acid that you're generating in your body, and you're like a bucket holding an acid for a long time, right? Tell me, who is getting impacted, the ones who have left or you?
Absolutely.
So then slowly started handling my anger, because I realized it is impacting me,
Correct.
right? So you need that support network. That is why I said, get mentors and pay them, and just tell them, I can't pay the this much, just because for your own seriousness, because I'm telling you that free bundle does not work. Okay, so find people uh, who can be your support network, and if you can't find in your family, friends and relatives, your colleagues, find a stranger. Look up in LinkedIn, find somebody, hear them, see them, approach them, ask. People are willing to help. Okay. So you need that support system, and you need to keep reading a lot of books or watching a lot of good stuff, which gives you the necessary, whether you're having a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Are you willing to take risk, or do you avoid risks, right? Do you always think, is this possible, or why this is not possible, right? How can I make this happen? Or your thought process starts from, oh, this is not going to happen, right? So how can you make it happen, right? Versus um, starting from why this thing will not work. So that is the difference between Ankur and me, right? So that helps, right? Because I'm someone who always thinks how this will work, and he's someone who will think how this will not work. But then we have to give space to each other and understand each other's perspective and see what will work for us. So that combo is required, right? Because I'm always accelerating, and if I don't have that break, I would have been the story of Dudwala or whatever, right?
Mm.
So you need that both acceleration and break. So you find out people, connect with people, network, and be in the company of people who uplift you and not bring you down.
Right. Now, continuing the same question, I have something closer to that. One student asks you, burnout is a common challenge for entrepreneurs due to long hours and high pressure of building a startup. What practical strategies would you recommend for founders to maintain work-life balance, manage stress, and sustain motivation throughout their journey?
Lovely. So I have partially answered you, right?
Right.
Meditation, as I say, very important to take breaks, right? Burnout. Why is the burnout happening?
Mhm.
Now, very important question you have to ask is, are you starting a business to become number one in that category, to become a unicorn? to become number one in your city, in your country? Or are you just starting this business for having the freedom of time and having some money, right? So you have to define what is the purpose. Because when you see why we are where we are, because we were very clear we want a peaceful and simple life, right? We don't want again firefighting with time deadlines, right? So with our skill set we could have been 1,000 crore 5,000 crore company, but is that what we want? Or we are okay to have little financial independence, our needs are less. So it does not give any burnout, it does not give any peer pressure, because we are not chasing money, we are not chasing fame, right? We are not chasing things that because of peer pressure. If I want to do that, then it is worth it. Then I have to see how to handle my burnout and stress and things like that. I have to take breaks, right? All those things. I watch some motivational movies. Give time to yourself, right? Because what happens is that question you need to ask, what I want out of this. Once you are clear on that, you will know what to do. Because this, I know that most of the time the peer pressure is because everybody is running behind something. And what are you running behind, right? So, well, all these things happen. I would say that every day have a good schedule, that in a day you will give 4 hours to yourself, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening.
Correct.
Rest of the time you will work, you know when to stop, right? But I think I answered that question, that
Yes.
know what you want, what you desire: financial independence, freedom of time, or number one, unicorn, you're chasing that.
Absolutely. What strategies can founder use to build a loyal customer base?
Beautiful. Thank you so much for asking. There is nothing called customer loyalty in India. Okay. But to be able, no, but people do see, right? So I do have a loyal customer base in my Kanika. I also have my core employees still working with us. Ankur and I. Ankur is a better boss, I would say, better manager. Okay.
So, well,
Uh,
just before that, why did you make that statement? I mean, is it because you have a lot of options today? There are a lot of substitute products today. Why is that Indian customers not loyal?
because people, the buying psychology, right? That if you sell 100 something at 100 rupees lesser, people want to, that thought mindset has to change.
Mhm.
Not everybody is like that, but at least 80-20 rule everywhere, right? So I'm just
Right.
saying that in India, what works is what is cheap. So they
Unfortunately.
shift, right? They shift. But still, I would say, but there are certain businesses where customer loyalty is there. For example, gold, diamond is a matter of trust. So what happens is, if you have a mindset of serving over
Mhm.
selling, you get customer loyalty. That is why I told unique serving proposition and not selling. Selling means whatever you have, you want to push, sell. Serving means what is their need? How can I help? Can you see the difference?
Absolutely.
This way versus, okay, I'm serving you. So you have a problem, you have a need, because everything orients from that space then, because you're working with a serving mindset. Selling is pushing, 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 right? So once you see, you should really be genuinely interested in solving their problem, and in a very, what do you say, empathetic way. A lot of empathy. Then you, and customers sees it. Okay, they know that, and serve them with authenticity, integrity, be honest, don't play around with words, right? Then you deserve customer loyalty, and they understand, they come back even if they are gone for cheap pricing, they come back.
Absolutely.
That's the foundation you have set.
Great. So I'll take up the last question. That's from my personal end to you.
Oh,
You already ventured into 7 different businesses. What next in the bucket list for Vandana?
bucket list. Okay, so I'm on journey of self discovery consciously for the last 10 years. um I don't have any bucket list. I don't have, I would say that I just want to be a spiritual teacher, a spiritual leader. I think that's what on my, and I'm very soon starting. I've this last year I've written a book on spirituality called Awaken Your Divinity Within.
Wow.
27 January last year it was published, and I think I'm launching my programs for that, because I think that's what my heart longs for, sharing
Mhm.
my experiential insights. This is what I'm doing with you right now. I'm able to do what things that I enjoy doing. I spend most of my time doing things that I love doing. And I think I would like, I've blended materialism and spiritualism very beautifully in my life. And probably materialism, I've done a lot of courses, programs in the last few years. So now it's time for spiritualism. So I think that's what I am pursuing right now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. I think it was tremendous. Now I'm seriously, jealous of myself for missing your session in the TEDx talk as well. I mean, the interaction, I understand the aura that you carry. Amazing. I mean, this is what I always believe in. It's more than the textbook, more than the syllabus. The experiences gives us huge learnings out of it, and that's the fantastic learnings. What do you say?
I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. Your organization is, I can look at how progressive thinking it's there. I think the students should make the most of this,
Mhm.
because I don't see this happening in other premier institutes as well. And it is all about, bringing entrepreneurs who share their experiential insights, which is not in textbooks that you said, and having a dedicated team to work on it. So I think you guys, your college, your institute is.
As a business school, I believe it is the necessity. You would be happy to note that we teach students only for 4 days, Monday to Thursday. Fridays and Saturdays are exclusively dedicated for sessions like this. I mean, that's where I think major takeaways are compared to the four walls of the classrooms. And we're doing quite great. We have hosted many of the top business experts, including you. So it's indeed a pleasure. And I'm sure the students had a lot of takeaways. So yes, if I have to ask you the final question, 3 bullet points to my students, the budding entrepreneurs, what is the key 3 tips that you would want to give them?
Too
Three
much.
tips to all the listeners, to all the audience out here.
So I would say that the problem that you're solving, spend
Mhm.
a lot of time on that. And I would say number one, right, that is professionally. Personally, give time to yourself and your family. Pace out your day in such a way that you are able to take care of you. That's a personal discipline, I would say, right? Along with problem solving, business positioning, because growthers, here again I want to say one thing quickly, right? Growthers did not find the necessary success until they became Blinkit. And what was the difference? Their business positioning. Growther was simply collecting groceries and delivering. Everything remained the same, right? But the business positioning was the last minute app that changed the game for them, right? So I would say, as an entrepreneur, very important to spend a lot of time and research on what is the problem you're solving, whatever those questions I asked. Very important. On the personal front, important to take care of your family, your children, your spouse, everybody, which I didn't do because I had these other insights. If given a chance, I would like to go and course correct that, right? Because when you're a first time entrepreneur, most of your time goes there, right? But there can be a personal discipline, as I said. Space out your day in such a way that you are able to it doesn't mean cooking all the meals in the home. Just one meal you can cook, right? If you are a women entrepreneur in a day, or you can just cook one meal in a week, so you don't feel guilty about that you have not done something right, or you have on the weighing scale, one of the thing was higher and one was lower, right? Because you spend too much. Where your time goes, there your future flows. This is one quote that I had: where your time goes, there your future flows. So if you're giving too much time to business, that will grow. And the third point, spirituality is not about any religion. It's how you connect your inner world and outer world, right? So connect with yourself, know who you are, right? What you like, what works for you. So personally, professionally, spiritually, I think that is my top 3 tips for the students here. And at this age, if you are learning this and you can start applying, nothing like it. By the time you reach our age, you would be growing exponentially.
I think you can also share with me the link of your book that you have authored. That can also be
Yeah, so
big
Professor, I
resource
was
to all of
thinking when
us.
I came for TEDx talk in 2016, Ankur and I, we published a book on entrepreneurship called You Can Do It. right? So I had this plan of giving some copies in your library for students to read it. It's a lot of experiential insights.
That would
So
be
I
awesome.
think probably I would send some copies. How much copies would be good enough? I thought it would be a New Year gift from my side because I had come for TEDx talk, but somehow it didn't happen. So
My team will definitely get back to you on this. I mean, we would love to. We would love to.
and for Awaken Your Divinity Within, you can just do Vandana Mehrotra, Awaken Your Divinity. So that book is nothing, there's nothing to read there, Professor. It is an
Mhm.
experiential book. So it is a program. So
Mhm.
basically, even if you buy the book, I don't think it, you can, but it needs a guided, it's more like a workshop kind of a book, right? Where it needs to be guided. Uh, it's called Awaken Your Divinity Within.
Mhm.
So I will be doing a book reading. I'll invite you for the book reading.
Fantastic. That would be awesome. Anyways, we come to an end of, I would say, a fabulous session. On behalf of all the viewers out here, on behalf of the GIBS Business School, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Vandana. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was indeed such a pleasure hosting you today.
Thank you so much. I also enjoyed the session equally as you enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And special appreciation to the students who joined on time and majorly because of their wonderful questions that they posted. I really appreciate. Yes, before you sign off, students, I would request you to please follow Vandana ma'am and all the social media platforms because you tend to learn a lot of things. I mean, uh,
Yeah, probably I would be keen to know what are their takeaways because each person has a different takeaway,
right.
and because I'm an action taker, if the students can simply note share on my
Great.
YouTube or somewhere what are the top three takeaways
Great.
right from this session, it will be worth the time that we have spent together here.
Very true. I mean, students, please take this as a assignment or a homework to you. This session will also be uploaded very soon in our YouTube channel. So
There you
I
go
would
and
request all my students to share your takeaways there in the YouTube,
right.
the telecasting of this. I think that would be really good for all of us, including Vandana. Yes, thanks for that homework, ma'am. I mean, that a typical teacher came in you at the end of the day. Thank you so much. Well, yeah, for now, I would request the ones who have not subscribed to our channels, our pages, please do that. And we have a lot more exciting such sessions in the coming days. Please keep watching us. But as of now, this is Guru Prasad, host for today, signing off. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.